In the subject public relations, students are expected to know how to write a press release. A press release, as you already know, is an official written statement that is distributed to media houses or news organizations to announce something of news worth. So what you see right now on the screen, if you're following this video on the YouTube channel Captain 37, what you see is a press release as issued by the Energy Regulation Board. Let's break this down. Let's break it down. What you see over there is the letterhead, and the letterhead contains the logo, it contains the name of the organization, and it also contains the different offices where this particular organization has a presence, including the contact information. That's fine and that's good. The second part of this particular press statement is that it must clearly indicate that it is a press statement. And there it is. It is clearly written press statement. And what follows is this part, which reads, for immediate release. This means that there is no embargo on this press release. An embargo is when the issuing organization communicates with the media houses to hold on to a press release on and until a particular date. That is an embargo. In this particular case, it is for immediate release. The third part, or the fourth part, is the subject. What is this press release going to address? And in this particular case, the subject is highlighted. And then there is always, and this is very important, the first paragraph. The first paragraph must get straight to the point to announce that which you want to make known. Just an introduction without getting into details. You get into details in the second paragraph, third paragraph, and the paragraphs that follow. So this was part of the press release that was issued by the Energy Regulation Board. The other part of it is the conclusion. These price changes take effect midnight of Tuesday, 31st January 2023. It must be very clear of what the press release is communicating, and the conclusion or the last part is equally very important. Also, as you can see, it must be clearly indicated. In this particular case, it is clearly indicated who ordered issuance of this particular press release. And in this case, it was by order of the board. By order of the board. And who in particular is the sender? The sender is the name that's written over there. And this particular person's title is board chairperson. This is a breakdown of the press release that was issued by the Energy Regulation Board. Let's look at another one, and this one was issued by ZICTA. Notice also that there is the letterhead, but the letterhead in this case does not include the contact information, and that's perfectly fine. And you can see it follows that this particular press release is also for immediate release. Now notice that in this particular case, right after the logo, it was not written press release. Why? Because right there where it says for immediate release, you would know that it's a press release. Now, there's a difference, slight difference. What we learn for purposes of passing the exam and what happens in industry sometimes is a difference. So it is clear still that this is a press release, even when it is not clearly labeled that it is a press release. It is for immediate release as of January 6, 2023. The subject follows, as you can see, the subject does follow, and as usual, you have the first paragraph, which introduces what this particular press release is going to talk about. The second paragraph gets into some more details, and the third paragraph and the fourth paragraph will follow. The last paragraph must be indicative, it must be directive, it must be clear of what the press release was going to talk about. And as was the case with the press release issued by the Energy Regulation Board, it must be issued by someone, and in this particular case, there is the person and their title. In the previous one, there was also the person's name and their title. Then take note of what happens next. There is the contact information. In the first one, the contact information was on the letterhead. In this one, the contact information is given below. This is very important. So you notice that it is the same principal information placed in different places. It is the same information, which is in this case contact information, but it is placed in different places. This is the key to understanding. The difference between knowing and understanding is that when you understand, you are familiar of the key elements in a particular structure, whatever it is, and you know where to place it at a particular time. People or students in Group D would argue about where to put the contact information, but students in Group A know that what's important is that the information is there and it is in a chronological or put at an appropriate place. So I wanted to show you how in the real world a press release is written. It is pretty much no different from how you need to do it in the exam. And here is how you need to do it in the exam. Always, you will be given a case, and the first thing you do when you're writing your press release is to indicate the name of the organization. After you have indicated the name of the organization, you clearly need to indicate that it's a press release. After you have done that, then you can include the date, or you can put for immediate release, or indeed it can be both, the date and then you indicate for immediate release. Then you must have the subject. What is this press release going to cover? In this particular case, the subject is Captain 37 partners with MeTube to create educative content. This is the subject. And then you obviously will get to your first paragraph. And as usual, the first paragraph must merely and simply introduce what it is that's going to be talked about in the press release. You can indicate some affirmative action, and then you can proceed in paragraph 2 to talk about whatever it is, blah blah blah, and you talk about the blah 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 in the second and the third paragraph. Lastly, you end. You must clearly indicate that this is the end of the press release, and you could indicate that it was issued by the PR unit. Take note of what the question is going to ask you. If the question gives you a title, then you may need to use that title. If you haven't been given any, you can say the PR unit, or you can give yourself a title. And if you so wish, which is encouraged, you can indicate or include contact information in case someone or the news media, in case someone or the news outlets may want to reach you for further clarification. So this is how a press release is going to be structured, or expected for you to structure on the exam for you to pass and get your results. My name is Sawei Chocho. I invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Captain 37. And if you need me to help you in your individual lessons, individual studies, feel free to get in touch. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.